Hello TMPers, I'm going to ask you a question. How much adventure do you get in your life, day to day? Now, I'm not talking about scaling Mount Everest, whitewater rapids, maybe rappelling off of cliffs. I'm all for that stuff actually. If you can make it happen, I say make it happen. Take your friends and family with you. Make those valuable family memories that you're going to have forever. You know I'm all about the memories. But what if it's just you? You're alone, you're on a business trip or maybe a pleasure trip somewhere and you're stuck in a hotel. Can you have adventure then? You know, you can do what most dudes do, and that's sit around and watch television in the room. Not nothing fancy. That sucks. First off, you need to exercise. You need to get out and work your body and stay in shape for all the stuff we show in the Nutnfancy project. That means acclimating your body in certain ways for such adventures. And I don't recommend wasting your time in the hotel room. That's what this gear review is about. It's going to show you how I've gotten out for many years, coming up on actually 10 years now, using the device I'm going to show you. Get out and make it happen. Now, there's lots of ways to skin this cat. You can get out and walk, you can get out and jog. Both of those are great aerobic activities. They're fun. In fact, I used to do them. I used to jog a lot until I had knee issues on my right knee. And now I kind of want to preserve what I have for backpacking and other more outdoorsy adventures. So I'm real careful how I use that knee. How about walking? If you want to get out and see the sights of a city, and by the way, we're in Jacksonville, Florida. I've come down here to make this review, tied it in with some business obligations, and there's a lot going down here today, and it's a beautiful location. What if you want to see the sights of Jacksonville, Florida today, right next to the beautiful St. Johns River here? Certainly getting out and walking is one way to do it. Cruising, you know, a leisurely walk, and for some people that's what they want. They enjoy that most. It gives them time to see the sights. I want a little more. For one, I'm always under time constraints. I don't have a lot of time, so I got to get out and make it happen. And to make it happen, I want to cover the largest distance possible in the shortest amount of time possible. However, there's certain things that I rule out. One is a rental car. I don't want to spend money on a rental car if I go to a different location every time. It's expensive. I'd rather use that money for other things, gear purchasing, and something's got to give. So I generally don't allocate a lot of money for rental cars. Also, it's a hassle, especially if you're in an urban environment. Sorry, by the way, for the sun shadows. That's just what we have going today. Yeah, it's a hassle. I have to rent a car, and then if I'm in an urban environment, I have to find a place to park it. That's parking fees. No thanks. And also, it doesn't give me the exercise I'm after. Yeah, so a rental car can be a hassle, can be expensive. How about a bicycle? It all depends on what your system can take. And by system, I'm talking, how did you get to your location? If you drove via a van, maybe an SUV, a car, you might be able to bring a bicycle with you. However, if you flew, either airlines or military, it's going to be tough. I know because I've done it. In the airlines, you're going to have to buy a box, you're going to have to take the bike down, you're going to have to put it together, check it in, check it out, longer lines. Again, hassle. What you want to do when you go for that adventure is to make it sustainable. Something you can do year after year, week after week, month after month, no matter where you find yourself. And to be sustainable, it's got to be affordable and it's got to be simple and cheap. At least for me. I've got other things that need my money, and trust me, I don't want to be spending it on bike boxes and rental cars. How about running? A lot of guys will get out and they'll jog. I was one of those guys, right up to the point where I started having knee problems. And jogging's fun, it's enjoyable. However, you still won't be able to cover the same amount of ground that you will with the device I'm getting ready to show you. And I think I've already talked about walking. It's too slow. Sorry, it ain't for me. I don't cover enough ground. So what to do? There's not a lot of options when you throw all that out. Cheap, high speed, easy to carry along, affordable, and let's add durable too. It's got to be durable. I mean, if you take something along and it breaks after 2 weeks of use, what's the use? Huh. What to do, what to do. I'll show you what to do. The answer is Xootr. Xootr. And it is a high-performance, well-built kick scooter. That's right, kick scooter. There's no motor here. It's going to be your muscle power making it work. And work it does. As you can see, it fits in its very slimline carry case, which, according to me at least, can go pretty much everywhere you go in the world. And yes, when I deploy overseas in my military job, guess what? Xootr comes with. So lightweight, easy to carry along. That's the Xootr carry bag, and that's with the scooter inside. Your protective gear riding along. There's my helmet. I have some knee pads in there. I'll talk about the safety issues as you Xootr along here as I continue the review. And you can see you even have extra room for like a camelback, which I already have out and filled with water, ready to rock and roll. Let's take it out. Let's go for a ride. So you guys have probably been thinking the whole time, hey Nutnfancy, what's with the orange shirt? I thought you were into tactical colors and stuff. Depends on what I'm doing. Right now I'm getting ready to take a Xootr out on some busy and main roads. I might have to be in the roads at times. I want to be seen. And that strikes to the heart of Xootring. You want to stay safe. You don't want to die doing it. And it can be dangerous depending on where you go. Most places have sidewalks. Some don't, and you might have to be in the road. Wearing a black color or something subdued is dumb. Wear something bright, a reflective vest. You can see my camelback in the background has a reflective triangle on it. Yeah, I've done this at night too, just caught after dark. Be safe, and I'll integrate that in the review as we go. Anyways, here's the Xootr itself. And speaking of safe, notice I have reflective tape put all along the upper shaft of the Xootr. All sides, so I can be seen. Being seen means you'll stay alive, as long as you don't do something dumb. That's a Xootr, that's what it looks like. Very lightweight, see how compact that is? That's why it can fit in that duffel bag so well. As I go through the review, by the way, I'm going to tell you how I have developed my Xootr system. Again, you may have different ways of doing it when you get yours, but I've been doing this a long time. Well over 9 years now, Xootring. And these are things that I have found out. One, I always get a Xootr with a Fender Kit on it. This Fender right here. And when I travel with it, I put a piece of closed cell foam under that fender so it does not crack in the duffel bag. I have found that in transportation, if you don't do that, this fender can get cracked. The plastic portion, there's a metal brake shoe underneath it. Just do that, a nice tip. Also, if you do reflective tape on it, cover it in really high quality clear tape. Otherwise, reflective strips on it. Cover it in clear high quality tape so it doesn't peel off. Another lesson. The Xootr is really quick to assemble. You have a cross pin right here that stows it. Pull it out, don't lose it. Unfold. You're ready to go. All you gotta do now is adjust those handlebars to the height that you want. I generally like them lower rather than higher, so you can get down when you're climbing hills and stuff. Undo that. Sometimes Xootrs will stick. I don't know why, but this one is kind of sticky. Right about there. Turn sideways so you can see that. Lock it. There you go. Your Xootr's assembled and ready for adventure. All you got to do is provide the muscle power. And it is a good workout, trust me. How far do we go? How about 20 miles? Hey, a couple points before we hit the road. First off, a lot of guys are too insecure to be found on top of a kick scooter. That's a personal problem you have. You need to get beyond it. I know this because of my military buddies. As I've taken my Xootrs over with me to Europe or the Middle East, I've heard it all, man. They love it and they think it's the coolest thing in the world. But for them, they're like, there's no way I could do that. I just wouldn't want to be seen on a scooter. I'm like, whatever, dude, get past it. I mean, seek therapy. I think they have therapists that can get you past that. But get beyond it because you're really closing yourself off to an outstanding way to get around that's adventurous and fun. Secondly, and I can't stress it enough, gloves, safety gear. All of it that I'm wearing is crucial to you doing this safely. I don't want you to get out there and get hurt. You got to do it smart and do it safe. And yeah, sometimes you're going to be in dangerous areas, and I'm talking in where there's a lot of vehicular traffic. Gloves are imperative. You will wipe out on your Xootr. Not if, you will wipe out. Been there, done it many times. The first thing that's going to hit the pavement when you hit a crack or a big rock is you're going to go, butt over tea kettle, and your hands are going to face plant right on the cement. These will save your hands a lot. This is probably my 20th pair of gloves while Xootring, and I've got lots of others in my other bags. Helmet speaks for itself. Always wear a helmet, and always put reflective gear on top of that helmet too. Again, if I'm caught at night, which has happened many times, I want to be seen. Camelback is elective. I always bring a lot of water with me when I Xootr. You will go through it, trust me. You want to do Gatorade? Fine, I just do water. But this is a hog Camelback. It's small enough to fit in the Xootr carry case. Love it. As you can see, I have my reflective triangle on it. First aid kit, level 1 in the back. GPS, this is a Garmin GPS 60CX, tried and proven by me many times. Cell phone right here for emergencies and contact. And then I got knee pads right here. I don't know if you can see these. And then I'll have some reflective bands around my ankle. All designed to be seen and to protect you as you go adventuring. St. Johns River, another fun location. This is Jacksonville, Florida. HMS Bounty sitting over there during sail event here in Jacksonville. Really cool. What do we say we go across that bridge right there and go adventuring over there? Let's say we have to get over there for some reason. Again, maybe we could walk. Slowly, I might add. Doable. So much funner and so much faster to Xootr. Let's rock and roll. By the way, bear with me. I am single cameraman today, so that will kind of dictate the filming. And no hall monitors. Don't worry about me filming while I Xootr. Been there, done it lots of times. Let's rock. Hey, I'm sure what those guys are doing is fun. Trust me, dudes. What we're doing here is a lot of fun. And you're independent. You can go wherever you want. Alright, break time. Here we are on the other side of the bridge. If I hadn't been filming, it would probably take me about 5 minutes to get here. Just ripping it across that bridge. The Xootr is fast. It's a great way to cover territory, much quicker than walking, even quicker than jogging. I know because I blow joggers off the road all the time on my Xootr. No offense, joggers. Hey, another thing you're going to have when you Xootr as opposed to a rental car, I'm probably yelling, got my earphones in, is you're going to see cool sights. Sights that you wouldn't otherwise see in your rental car, for instance. Behind me is a water sculpture entitled High Tide in Jacksonville, Florida. Beautiful. Excuse me. The water's turned off, probably a good thing. You can hear me that way. But it's interesting. It's cool. There's a plaque over here describing when it was posted, the sculpture, all kinds of things. You'll see sculptures, historical landmarks. You'll meet the people within a city. And I'll be honest, I've Xootered in pretty much every state in the Union. So I know the states and I know the people, and it's a good feeling because when I go back to that state, I can say, yeah, I remember that. Been there, done it. And I've done it on street level with the Xootr. Much better. Another thing, headphones. I'm all about safety, the headgear, gloves, knee pads, all that for wipeouts. Some guys will say, well, why do you wear headphones? Dude, you gotta strike a balance in life. When I go out zootering, it's also for fun. So I like to crank the tunes. I do. That's the first reason. It's fun. It transforms it into a super fun experience, kind of like skateboarding for you guys that skateboard surfers. I know you're probably not cranking the tunes out in the surf, but another reason is it protects your hearing. As you're zootering along, you're gonna have a lot of semi-tractor trailers cruise by you with their jake brakes, a lot of loud noises, people screaming at you. Yeah, been there, done it. And it's good to have hearing protection. It protects it. I'm always about protecting my hearing whenever possible. Let's do some more. All right, when you're riding your Xootr, and a lot of guys may have seen that last curve and go, hey, why didn't you go down the ramp? That's because you may not have seen, but there's a huge ledge on that down ramp on that sidewalk, which drives to the point when you're Xootering, you better watch the road surface or sidewalk surface very closely. If you don't, a little lip that big is going to wipe you out. Again, been there a lot. Don't be afraid to take curves on your Xootr. It will rock. I'm an expert curb jumper, hopper, whatever you want to call it. However, I'm not a trickster. And there's probably other dudes on a Xootr that are tricksters, and they can do a lot of things I would never attempt on a Xootr. I'm all about adventuring, getting out, and covering territory on the Xootr. Doing it fast and aggressively. The Xootr is outstanding in that. Also, it's very narrow. It can wind its way through obstacles that even a bicycle would have trouble with. Very maneuverable and durable. I have busted my deck on a Xootr before. It was a magnesium model. I had curb jumped it maybe once too many times. And when I say curb jumping, I'm not just talking 4-inch, 6-inch curbs. I mean, I can jump something like that. Maybe jump's not the right term. Hop would be a better term, where I'm planting one foot, lifting the Xootr over. Real easy to do, just takes a little practice. But yeah, they're not impervious to breakage, but it's pretty tough. And when I send it back to Xootr, who by the way has outstanding customer service, they just replace it free of charge. So no big deal. Xootr is really tough. I mean, the amount of miles that I put on mine, and I'm talking, I've done up to 45-mile rides on my Xootr. No kidding. Out and about. Great geocaching vehicle, by the way. If you're into geocaching, that is treasure hunting with your GPS, which I've done before. It is a great way to get out and cruise and really get from cache to cache fast, at least faster than walking. I usually tell people when they ask me, say, well, Xootr versus bicycle, what's the difference? I don't know. I'd say Xootr's about 70% good as a bike once you get it out. And that's just talking about speed. My average cruise speed on a Xootr, as measured by the GPS right here, about 12 miles an hour. Uphill, definitely less. Downhill, I don't like going too fast, because if you hit one of those ledges and you're going fast, you're going to have a gnarly wipeout. Ice. Downtown areas in the United States and all around the world actually are pretty much dead on the weekends. Most businesses are closed. There's a lot less vehicle traffic in the downtown area, and that makes your deciding where to Xootr a lot easier. Either sidewalk or street. It's up to you. I do about 50-50. I basically go where the smooth surface is. If there's lots of cracks, dips, and ledges in the sidewalk, then I'll bail to the street. Realizing, of course, that when I go to the street, I got cars to deal with. Again, the bright colors, the ankle bands, all play to safety so we can Xootr safely without getting ran over. Sometimes I'll Xootr against the traffic so I can see the cars, sometimes with it. Just depends on what I'm trying to do. I bet you have more miles on a Xootr than anyone else in the world. Seriously. I don't know of anybody who has put more miles in all the many states and all the many countries I've been to with my jobs than me. I don't say that to brag. That's the last thing I want to do. But I have to throw that out there, and I'm probably going to speak more to this in other reviews, because there's some armchair elitists out there with some ego-based motives that may occasionally say, hey, you never use the gear you review, ignoring all the video and photographic evidence that I integrate into my reviews. Some people you just can't convince, and others are just trying to make a buck off of you by selling you their gear on their website, and so they may try to discredit my review. Trust me, and when I give you the straight scoop on any item, whether it's a Xootr or something else, it's coming from a lot of experience. If I don't have experience in that particular item, I'll tell you. When it comes to Xootring though, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles on them. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. This one is my favorite model, the Xootr MG, magnesium decked version. Comes in red, blue, and black. I was thinking silver. It might be in silver, don't know. I have used other models of Xootrs in the last 9 years. I started off with the wood version. That's the cruise model. They still sell that one. It will give you a softer ride as you go over the bumps of a street and in the urban environment, for sure. However, the durability of the Xootr MG beats it. And it's still lightweight. Overall, the Xootr you're looking at is about 9.9 pounds. And no, this is not my only Xootr. I have 4 of them. Purchased over 9 years. That's right. Some are a lot more thrash than this one. Like I mentioned earlier, the deck is not impervious to breakage. However, as long as you don't abuse it, maybe jumping off something like this, you'll probably be just fine. And if it does break, Xootr Incorporated or whatever they're called will take care of you, no doubt. They've done it for me. The wheels, 7 inches, solid magnesium, covered in a solid pure polyurethane tire. These tires are very durable. I have found though, after several hundred miles, they'll start to chunk out and you'll lose bits and pieces of them. Especially if you go over very rough road or sidewalk surfaces, which if you go around enough, that's pretty much inevitable. These, as you can see, are fairly new and they're wearing nicely. Don't be worried if they wear asymmetrically. In other words, maybe one edge wears down more than the other. I have found that that's not a player pretty much. The bearings on these things are sealed and they're very precision made. Let me get this thing spinning. Sorry for the bounce. They'll roll and roll and roll as long as you don't have grit in them. Yes, they're sealed, but here comes another life lesson, Xootr style from Nutnfancy. They can and will get grit in them if you go through water. Having got caught in several rainstorms and plowed through water, actually right down here in Florida, yeah, I got grit in there, had to take them out. The bearings were pretty much ruined. I had to replace the bearings. Big hassle. Called Xootr, told them about it, said, hey, you know, those bearings are not sealed, they will get grit in them, and they were shocked. Once again, reaffirming the fact that I'm pretty much their test bed. There's a lot of Xootrs in the world, but I don't think anybody gets out and does what I do on a Xootr. After this video, that may change though. So, be careful with your bearings, don't go through water. Which, some might ask, well, why do you have a fender then? This is an optional fender kit, if I'm not mistaken. They might include it actually, I don't know. When I bought it, it was optional. The fender is if you go through a small splash of water, it keeps it clean. The main reason I like it though is because of the brake inside. Inside that fender kit is a solid shoe brake on a pivot point, and so when you put your foot on top of that fender and push down, that solid aluminum shoe impinges on that solid polyurethane tire, producing braking motion. On the front you have a BMX style brake with a high quality metal lever. And know if you slam this front brake on, you're not going to go flipping forward. It's not that effective. It just doesn't produce that much braking force. Like the back tire, the front brake has a solid aluminum shoe, which is replaceable and orderable from Xootr, that rides on top of that polyurethane tire. Between these two braking systems, you can brake this sucker down. Don't be afraid. As you go down the hill, light braking from the front and the back using your shoe on the fender works great. It is adjustable. Here's your oval aluminum housing for the handlebar, which can extend from 25 inches all the way up to 35 inches, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. 38 inches is how high that can go. I tend to have mine a little bit lower. I can hill climb on it a little bit better. but adjust it to your heart's content. It has a bayonet style adjustment lever on it, just like a bicycle seat does. Pretty durable. The handle grips are just standard foam handle grips. Sometimes I'll tape them with athletic cloth tape so they don't shred up too much. Again, this one hasn't seen a ton of miles. My other ones have. You may see that in photos if I think about it. Some guys will look at the Xootr and go, hey man, is that designed backwards? Shouldn't this be placed forward? Nope. Read Xootr's website and they'll tell you how they came up with this design. That's the best design that they came up with. You see the takedown pin right there, and I showed you how to put it together, take it down. Real easy to do, real easy to put together. Overall, the Xootr is extremely well made. Again, don't confuse it with a Razor scooter or some other cheesy offering out there. This is a high-performance kick scooter designed by an engineer to beat a bicycle in urban environments, just like the one I'm in, where maybe taking the Xootr out versus a bicycle, you take a bicycle out, you have to take it inside the building or actually lock it up outside the building, whereas a Xootr you can just throw over your shoulder, hike wherever you're going, or just take it inside your workplace. Piece of cake. Very well built and worth the money. Sometimes Xootr actually has free shipping deals too, so all you'll do is no tax, free shipping, and yes, I think they send it anywhere in the world.